humbly greet you, good fellows out there. We have to continue this journey of unveiling the traps that we are bound to face. Fortunately for us, and unfortunately for the convictions of which others are into, that we have to, pull these things out to make them look a bit silly, just as I myself look silly sometimes. But I don't blame myself, because you're born into it. So many instances, all humanity comes into life, and we experience these things as it's meant to be. So, that can be the situation. I'm just hoping that we can really get to that point where we will be able to discover, we'll be able to discover answers that is necessary in our lives. I'm not going about it in a philosophical way, but at the end of the day, it is still within the philosophical way, because that's how these things have come out. And I feel that most people get attracted to the fact that there is the reflection of education, the reflection of knowledge, and maybe it might just be education. Education in the sense of people educate themselves to acquire skill. Sometimes they educate themselves to acquire knowledge of skill, or let's say education to sort of get themselves abreast with certain issues or something of that nature. It is in a way knowledge, acquiring knowledge. But knowledge in itself is a whole body which, maneuvers in its own way. One can have knowledge in a sense which others will tap onto that, and it was by nature that he acquired that, by birth. He's very knowledgeable in that sense, and he can improve on his knowledge base because of what his IQ level might be and all that. So knowledge can come from, seen in a different way from the way I'm trying to put through. So there are people who probably have this knowledge, and as of that, make good use of it as far as they are concerned, to sort of figure out, get answers to some of the things that we have today. But those knowledge can also be revised, reviewed, can be looked into. It can be reinvented and seen as something that should be corrected and put right, because at that time, that is the level of knowledge. The knowledge moves on. Now, it also can be seen in a simplified way, a basic way of approach, not necessarily for us to still stick to the philosophical approach, or that kind of state where we have to make ourselves be known as very knowledgeable in words and all that, because sometimes people have the education and they are bright in that sense, but they are not making sense. They don't have the basic experience of life to add it up. That can be one good reason. Or they don't really have the sense, but they have the sense of being able to acquire the knowledge that others have tapped into. They have also tapped into that and got knowledge in some sense, in some specific area, and they use that for their benefit. But in so many ways, they are educated, and they can present themselves as educated, and that is very admiring to people. And even if I'm in that situation, or that presentation comes to you in that manner, you can be attracted to the video based on the fact that you are sensing that I'm very educated. But if that's not the case, but you are listening to it and you are catching the grips of the idea, the detailed meaning to what he's trying to say, the point I'm trying to pull out. That is more valuable. That is all more concerned to me than any other. Trying to explain things that will make sense, that will make sense in a basic life to the ordinary person, to anybody, just like me or beneath me. If to say, I'm wondering if somebody is beneath me anyway, but in some way, people out there there are so many people out there who don't have the privilege of knowing or having knowledge in the sense of education or being bright to understand, get information based on what others have acquired or others have access to acquire. So it is necessary for these kind of things to come up, to make it possible to sort of to make it possible for us to, share the same privileges or take advantage of the privilege and balance the equation. When it comes to this, it even defines every day what I'm trying to pull out, that God is not just reaching the educated. He has to reach the uneducated and the educated. Obviously, we are all his children, so that is one basic thing. But we see all our presentation is coming from education and going to educated people. Now, how fair can that be? That words from the living God will come to the educated and go to the come through education and go to the educated people. That is not a very good ideal thing that one should expect from his Father or his Creator. We have to look for it in a very fair manner, because God won't discriminate against the educated and the non-educated. In fact, some of the prophets who did not write, most of the prophets that we claim with this high status, who never even wrote a thing, were known to be not very much educated. Yet it ends up that it's the educated people who take out the mantle to spread their news round. These people never even think or consider, but they reach out to educated people and they use them according to the educated people that they had a vision, but so and so person that now they will consider as a prophet, I talk to them and use them and says that, okay, send this message out there, write this now. When he was living, he never said write anything. It's when he's dead and gone that he tell you to write. In some instances, those people lived and they never shared much of their personal, experiences in the light of written presentations, but verbal, doing their work verbally. It's only the Quran that the rumor tells me that Muhammad probably in his time of living that the book has to be written because he was reciting it and they were writing it, something of that nature. But with the Bible, instances reflects that they never had that scenario. Most of the prophets didn't come up, except the Old Testament one is not very sure of that, but the New Testament in the times of Jesus, he then was seen as going and then spiritually coming to inspire them to write the book. So that's a whole lot. But we know that we are sticking to the books again. It is still the Quran, the Holy Quran, from the Islamic way of life. That is what built the Islamic way of life. We have the Possibility Thinkers Bible. It's a book that mostly used by Christians, or what we call the Christendom. That's the Possibility Thinkers, the new Possibility Thinkers Bible. It covers the Old Testament and the New Testament all together. And I do have another little book here, which is the Red Letter Bible. It's also the same Revised Standard, American Revised Standard version, the Thomas Nelson publishers. It's a New King James Version. It's a Holy Bible, and also basically they have a written statements referring to what is seen as a true statement from a prophet, one of the great prophets, or the great prophet, Jesus, who in the New Testament is presented in the New Testament as being the new age of the day, that has been the excuse of the transformation of the whole Jewish worship to what now we call it as the Christian worship. because they are the followers of Christ.